Hey YouTube, it's Morgan, aka the Mountaineer. I'm coming to you again from Kanawha State Forest, this time on a different trail. This is the Pauley Trail, Pauley Wildcat Ridge Trail or something like that. Just taking a little break, making a little coffee, smoking my pipe. This is my Falcon with the meerschaum bowl. This is my backpacking pipe I showed in the video last weekend. Having my little ultralight cook kit here going with the titanium stove, Esbit fuel, titanium windscreen. Got some Starbucks via Italian roasts. My little Reflectix pot cozy helps keep everything warm. Somewhere in here I have I forgot to bring a spoon, so I cut off a piece of a straw that I had in the car to use as a stirring rod. But I'm sure you probably see my breath. Could a minute ago, but it's probably about 39 degrees out here. I'm sorry if it's a little noisy. This wind jacket is crinkly, very thin material. In my pipe I have my coin blend, second bowl of it. I let it sit over the week, and this time I actually, when I rubbed it out, I let it dry out for about an hour. Still a little moist. I think that was from the amount of binder that I sprayed on. I wasn't excessive, but you know, it's been in the press or in the jar since then. I hadn't really had too much of a chance to air out it. But the cake did expand a little bit. I had to hold the jar upside down and tap it to get it to come out of the jar. It had expanded and filled the bottom. And the center coin portion, at one point I could see just a little bit where the Virginias had risen a little tiny bit more than the center portion, which is not unexpected. I mean, basically, as long as I can just slice off somewhat even things, I think I won't be able to get a very good coin from it again. I probably should have tried slicing up more of it fresh out of the press when it was the densest and easiest to cut. But, you know, lesson learned for the next go round. Like I said, it's about 39 degrees out here. And driving in, this is a lot further in to Kanawha State Forest than the other trail that I was on. Had a little bit of trouble finding the trailhead. It's off the road a little bit, and there are no signs along the road that I could see that pointed it out. So I kept driving a good bit further, and yeah, I've seen maybe half a dozen people. Well, a little bit more. I think this kind of goes along, it's not a ridge, you know, it keeps going up the mountain a good bit, but along this hillside, there's a creek down here, a little valley. And down in the valley, there's a little bit of a forest road or something. Looked like a family of 4 or 5 with about 2 or 3 dogs down there. I've seen a few other people, not very many cars. But I guess that's to be expected when it has been rainy and it's under 40 degrees. I got my wife got a call from her coworker who started about 2 weeks before her, and they've shared an office or a cubicle forever. Very good friends. She's kind of like a second mother to my wife. Whenever she was pregnant for my youngest, she had something going on. Can't remember now. It turned out not to be anything, but Debbie took her to the ER, and I shot out of work from an hour away and got down. But, they're just good people. But anyway, her brother, younger brother, passed away very suddenly, just dropped dead of a massive heart attack yesterday morning. I guess she's about 11 or 12 years or older than him, and she kind of helped raise him. So she's not in a great state, but Shayna made some banana bread. Gonna take that in a gift down and drop it off to her. And so I got a piece of the banana bread here to eat with my coffee. I don't know if I've mentioned this in the videos, but you kind of think about what's going on with this virus, with the world. Yesterday was my 1 month anniversary of working from home. My first day was St. Patrick's Day. And, we're both trying to work, trying to keep the kids from killing each other. And trying to get our oldest to get his work done. And basically keep him entertained while working. And, it can be a real headache. But this is probably some of the best times of my life, because I will never ever again, I doubt, get to spend this much time with my family, especially my children. Eventually, hopefully, once I die of a heart attack from stress at my desk, I'm hoping that I'll get to spend a lot of time with my wife once we retire here in, multiple decades. But with the boys, and especially at this age, they're so fun. They're still, everything's still new to them. Especially my youngest, they still have great imaginations, and it's just, I just try to grit my teeth and bear it whenever they're fighting, because I know that this is some of the best times of my life. It is cold. I'm actually wearing my normal backpacking clothes. I did forget to bring any kind of gloves or like my fleece beanie. I have my poncho in there, and I do have another just like a WVU polyester shirt I can put on, but these are thin, lightweight backpacking pants, just my trail runners and normal low cut socks on there. Luckily it's not really very windy. This windbreaker, as light as it is and thin as it is an amazing little layer. But I can feel it through my butt. This is like an REI ultralight backpacking chair. It's like under a pound, I think. And when I bought it, I bought a little quilt thing that you put on the back to keep it warm. Man, I wish I'd have thought of that. That would help a lot. But I'm not sure. My little GPS thing says it's 0.7 miles. There were some switchbacks, and that thing just tracks every 10 minutes. So if you start here and do a switchback it takes you 5 minutes, and 5 minutes it measures that distance. It doesn't measure the it cuts out the majority of the length, so you have to take that tracking for what it's worth, which is interesting but not superbly accurate, obviously. But I found this nice little spot. This is one rock that goes beyond the camera. You can see this big overhang back here. It goes out a ways. You can see the edge of it. It kind of comes down. There's other big rocks. It's really neat. This is a very pretty trail so far. It'll be interesting to see when everything's in full bloom. Looking up through the treetops, you can see some green, some little leaves, a lot of little buds poking out, but still mostly browns and grays, and then the oranges through the trees from the fallen leaves. Right here, I can't see the creek. It must be pretty small because I can hear it, but it's not loud. It's a nice little spot. Probably not. I haven't taken many pictures at all, just one or two so far. I probably won't take too many, just other than this break. Pretty much keep moving to stay warm. Oh, my water's at a boil. Oh, I just took a half-liter bottle of water and took a big swig. These things take 8 ounces of water, so I always, even though it's a dark roast, I always use a little less than 8 each, just to make it a little stronger still. I haven't had any coffee or anything yet today. Just, I love that. Pouring it in. I'm sure you can't see that, but you pour it in to hot steaming water. The steam goes up into the pouch and blocks the coffee from getting out. So I oftentimes struggle with that, and I end up just dipping them in and stirring them to kind of clear that out. Makes it a little messy, and if I'd have thought, I would have gotten a separate bag for a trash bag, but there are a lot of things that I would have brought if I'd have thought very much about it. But hopefully this straw isn't going to leach chemicals from being in boiling water. But that tablet is just about burnt up, so that's perfect. It's good to know that those tablets are good for it's a delicate operation, that they're good for 2 cups of cold water. Get it to a boil, and almost freezing conditions. Ooh. These cozies I make, I just got, I think 4-inch or something like that, Reflectix, and use some sort of aluminum tape, something like that. I should have cut a little lip out there, but this will be super hot for a little bit, and then when it gets drinkable, it'll be a good temperature for about 30 seconds and then start getting cold. But even though it's just instant coffee, it is tasty, and there's nothing quite like making coffee in the woods. Hunting, I do the same thing. I have a little isobutane stove that I boil my water with, but just use the same thing, the Starbucks Vias. I use those for backpacking, and tell you what, nothing like getting up in the morning, crisp morning, and finally rolling out of your quilt, and getting up, stretching a little bit, and putting on some water for some coffee. hearing something or somebody. I'm hoping I'm not. I'm hoping it's someone else on some other trail. Because this right between the camera and me is the trail. I have my mic cable going across there, and I better pack up the camera. I think they might be on this trail, but anyhow, hope y'all are doing well. Thanks for tuning in.